Thank you, David. It's the first of three meetings between last year's Eastern finalists, the 3-3 Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the 1-5 Winnipeg Blue Bombers from Canada Stadium. Cool breeze blowing tonight, gusts up to 40 an hour on a clear evening. Sweaters and jackets in the crowd here. Well, there's Paul LaPolice, pressure building on his Bombers. Many suggesting this is a must-win game to get back into the Eastern race. Bombers 0-3 in divisional games.
He's going to go to the third guy in the depth chart at quarterback. Joey Elliott gets his first start of 2012. 0-2 as a starter. Those starts back in 2010, played a little against Edmonton. So the question for me is, does defensive coordinator Casey Crehan send the blitz and see if he can handle the pressure, or does he drop people off and see if Joey Elliott can be patient?
There's the head coach, George Cortez, looking for a bounce back after the Cats' three-game win streak was snapped by Calgary. And Hamilton 2-0 in the East. Interesting coin toss. The Bombers win it, and we think the win will be a factor. They deferred to get the win in the fourth quarter. Had to make a decision, though, on what end to defend right away. Do you want the win early, or do you want it in the longer second quarter?
Paul LaPolice was trying to get involved late in there, trying to show them from the bench, take the win. We've got a young, inexperienced quarterback, and the Bombers need a good start tonight.
Hamilton wanted the football to start, so the decision in the hands of the Bombers, who have the wind at their back to start. Justin Pilardi kicks it off. We're underway. And Siobhan Walker, little bobble at the 10, but away he goes. And the speedster up across the 30 and powers his way, and the ball popped loose at the end, and Winnipeg says they've got the football. Let's find out what the officials say.
One official on the closest sideline was waving it off as if the Hamilton Tiger Cat ball carrier was down by contact.
Tim Murphy ruling it is Hamilton football, but let's take another look.
Driving correction to yards. I don't think there's any question.
Jeremy McGee helping rip it out of there.
But he was down first.
So Henry Burris to work, and right away the Ticats, Jaguar, Stala break the plane and go offside. No Andy Fantus tonight. Did not finish the game against Calgary. Concussion-like symptoms leave him back in Hamilton.
Offside. Hamilton, number 88. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, and Samuel Jaguar moved into the slot back spot to replace Andy Fantus. I'm sure we'll see more of Dave Stala as well, but on that one, it was Jaguar that was way across the line of scrimmage, having to get used to that waggle towards the line.
So first and 15, the handoff to Walker to the near side, and he finds a crease and up across the 40-yard line. 9 yards for Siobhan Walker, who leads the CFL in yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, Siobhan Walker, one of our starters to watch, along with Chris Williams, also a guy that can make the big play either in the receiving corps or on the special teams. And there's Dave Stala. We will see more of him because Andy Fantus is not dressed and playing tonight in that spot, and Samuel Jaguar as well.
Our starters to watch brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL and its 8 teams. 2nd and 6, short drop, Burris, Chris Williams, and the speedster into Winnipeg territory, dropped at the 48-yard line. Last year, an eventful visit to Winnipeg, he had 162 yards, a touchdown, and also a fumble on the goal line.
And he gets inside quickly on this bump coverage from Javon Johnson. That's a one little head fake at the line of scrimmage, inside, easy throw and catch for Henry Burris.
So 20 yards for Williams, 7th in the league in receiving. Earl Stevenson, the former Bomber, lined up outside. The pitch to the near side. Walker is cut down. The strong side linebacker, Jonathan Hefney.
Matt Dunnigan said that Hefney's got to step up and make some plays. There's one of them out of the gate. Take a look at the guys to watch on defense for Winnipeg, and we'll look at Bryant Turner. Returns, missed last game because of a funeral. He had to go back home, and he's back in the lineup here tonight. Enoch Mwamba gets his first start at middle linebacker. He's been playing there, but hasn't started, and Alex Huber, one of the 2 secondary players back.
along with Ian Logan, who has missed the last 2 games with a quad strain. 2nd and 12. Burris has a strike close to a first down. Dave Stala has the catch. It hasn't been a great start to the year for Dave Stala, but may play a more prominent role tonight. 13th catch of the season, and this is going to require a measurement.
Well, last week the Hamilton Tiger Cats threw it to Andy Fantuz more than any receiver in the lineup. He had 7 catches until he was knocked out with those concussion-like symptoms. It was Henry Burris and Fantuz starting to get some chemistry over the last couple of weeks. That'll take a bit of a setback here, but it is an opportunity for Dave Stala to see more reps in that primary spot for Burris.
So 3rd and inches. The short yardage team comes on. Here's how Andy Fantuz was injured last week on that jolt from Juwan Simpson. So about the length of the football for Quentin Porter. And the Ticats jumbo team off the right side, and he'll have the first down. And with Andy Fantuz not in the lineup tonight, Quentin Porter will also handle the holding duties on place kicks for the Tiger Cats.
One of the most important positions in football. Just kidding. Good start for Henry Burris out of the gate here. He wanted to, after first 5 weeks where he was just off the hook good, a little bit of a setback last week.
Into the hands of Siobhan Walker, and he is shut down. Brandon Collier, the defensive tackle, was waiting for him in the hole.
Well, he just read the blocking protection up front. Marwan Hage is going to slide to his left, and when he slides in this direction, great read there by Brandon Collier to slide with him and then step right into the hole. And right in the backfield, hello, Siobhan Walker.
Well, on 2nd and 12, the Ticats got close to that 12 yards the last time. Now it's 2nd and long again, and Burris has an open man. Chris Williams gets away, and Williams down inside the 10. Touchdown! Some sloppy tackling, and Chris Williams into the end zone. It's a 37-yard Hamilton touchdown.
Timing route first off for Henry Burris and Chris Williams. When Williams comes out of his break, the ball is on its way. Almost impossible to cover initially. And then the move to the inside, and he'll dance his way to the end zone to get the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the board first.
Well, the speedster scorches Jeremy McGee, Juwan Johnson, and caps an 8-play, 73-yard scoring march to open the game for the Ticats, as Chris Williams hits pay dirt with his 4th touchdown catch of the season. So Kanji to kick it off. Damon Washington at his 15-yard line. And he bubbles outside and down the sidelines. Good return for Damon Washington, the leading kick returner in the CFL. But let's take another look at the Chris Williams touchdown.
Jeremy McGee's giving him a lot of respect. Look at the distance between them. That's about 10 yards right there of coverage, maybe even 11 or 12. Now when he does that, McGee also opens his hip early. So now he's already looking deep, and what does that open up? An easy out cut there for Chris Williams. The timing on the throw is perfect. By the time Jeremy McGee recovers and comes up, he's too late, slips and falls, and it's all Chris Williams after that.
So the Ticats do what Winnipeg has not done this year, score a touchdown in the opening quarter. Joey Elliott to work, Chad Simpson, and he'll get wrapped and pulled down as Matt Buckner moved up to make a sure tackle at a short gain.
Well, they say he's confident. Got a little moxie, like the panel said in the pregame show. He came out of the 2010 season as the number 2 behind Buck Pierce, and was really, according to Paul LaPolice, 2A coming out of camp this year behind Alex Brink, or beside Alex Brink, I should say.
His first start since the final game of 2010. Over the middle, the pass complete to Corey Watson, who lunges toward midfield, had to break the plane of the 55-yard line, and comes up just a little short, but the extra effort could leave the offense on the field for third down.
Yeah, I'm looking for big things from Corey Watson. I think a lot of Bomber fans are as well. He's got 9 catches in just his 2 games back in the lineup. That's pretty good production in just 2 games. 6 last week. And I think it's bigger and better for Corey Watson, and they need the help because the Winnipeg Blue Bombers not only have to match that opening score by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they don't want to let this slip away because their first quarters have been dismal.
That includes the touchdown tonight. Alex Brink comes in on the short yardage, great plunge behind big Justin Sorensen, Steve Morley, Chris Greaves, and into Ticat territory. Here are the Bombers starters to watch tonight.
Well, let's keep all eyes on Joey Elliott and how he plays in his first start in 2012. His best friend can be Chad Simpson, the running back. We talked about that in the pregame show, how important a running back is to a young and inexperienced quarterback. And if he wants the big play, look for Chris Matthews.
He's been quiet in recent games. Just over 100 yards in his last 3 starts. Elliott might be looking down there this time, and he has a completion. Wide open, Terrence Edwards, the veteran, coming off his best game of the year. He catches 120 yards against Montreal. It's a 20-yard pickup.
Well, in that one, I think he was so wide open, Terrence Edwards, that Elliott basically, he's going to come and then work back to the corner. And he basically aimed this throw and was a little low on it. And Terrence Edwards has to go down and pick it up off the turf. He was successful in doing that, but it was a tough catch, as open as he was.
Edwards was 7 touchdowns in his last 7 games against Hamilton. Elliott from the pocket, and flag goes down. The intended receiver was Chris Matthews. And a holding call against Winnipeg in the backfield.
Chris Matthews wanted a pass interference call down the field. Didn't get that flag.
Holding, Winnipeg, number 64. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's the left guard, Chris Greaves. Carlos Thomas with the tight coverage on Chris Matthews.
Up around the neck. It was Eddie Steele he was tackling.
Yes, the local product. University of Manitoba Bison graduate. Elliott throwing, and that one hops in the direction of Matthews, and the pressure on Joey Elliott, and that's been a theme this year. A lot of heat on the Winnipeg quarterbacks.
Let's take a look at the defensive starters to watch for the Hamilton Ticats, and I'm looking at their linebacking core. This is a team that ranks 8th against the run at 145 yards per game. That group is better than that. That's a talented linebacking core, even with Carlos Thomas kind of forced down in there to play. He's more halfback, a defensive back.
Still no Markeith Knowlton. The draw play, and Simpson ran into his blocking and got slowed up. Not much there. D. Webb at the bottom of the pile.
Or will Casey Crahan send a lot of blitz throughout this game at Joey Elliott, see if he can handle the blitz? Or will he make Elliott be patient, put together 10-play, 12-play, 14-play drives? Tiger Cats don't like to blitz that often. Interesting if they change that up tonight.
So Justin Pilardi comes on. This would be his longest of the year. He has missed from 48. This is from 49. Longest is 46. 13 to 14. And that will end a streak of 22 consecutive field goals for the place kickers in the league. Chris Williams dancing around. Renault missed him. And finally steps down. You never know with Williams, though. If he sees an opening, he can burn you. 1 on the board for the Bombers. Well, it used to be a ferocious defense. It certainly wasn't on the opening drive, and the numbers tell you a different story from a year ago after 6 games.
Well, no question. Look at the ones that jump off the board for you. Sacks, 25, leading the league a year ago at this time. Leading the league in interceptions with 10. And that giveaway takeaway, what a difference. Plus 15 after 6 weeks last year. Minus 8 right now.
Thank you, Siobhan Walker. Burris throws the out, and Dave Stalla's got another catch. Into Winnipeg territory. They'll mark him at the 53-yard line.
I mean, the difference between 1-5 and 5-1. Last year, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers went to the Grey Cup Championship because of their defense. It was dominant, leading in almost all categories defensively. Their leaders, Hepney, of course, Javon Johnson. Tim Burke had them playing at their best. And it has been a different story. I mean, offensively, when you compare the numbers, they're not that much different from a year ago offensively. The biggest difference is plus minus and the way they're playing defensively from a year ago.
And again, they've got Turner, Super, and Logan starters back this week. Really only missing Brandon Stewart amongst the starters. 14 for Stalla, first down. Siobhan Walker. And he gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage and drilled back.
Now, last year, Jonathan Hepney had 6 interceptions, a career best for him on the season. And Javon Johnson, of course, we know is a defensive player of the year, had a career best 8 interceptions on the season. Both of them have won so far this year, but it's more than just the numbers for them. They are the heart and soul now of this defense. When they play with great enthusiasm and intensity, it's infectious. Haven't seen it much this year. I put it right on the leaders of this defense. They've got to be better.
2nd and 8. Burris has time, and he's on the money. And Chris Williams dropped the football. Damon Washington in coverage, but Chris Williams looked like he had the catch and dropped it. They had 6 drops against Calgary, and there's the first of the night for the receiving core of the Ticats.
This, Chris, is why, as a defensive back, you never quit. You never quit on a play. Even though that Chris Williams had created some separation, was there, and so was the ball right on the money. That little juggle cost him the catch because Damon Washington didn't give up on it.
First incompletion for Burris. The Bartell kick bouncing past Washington through the wickets, and it will not reach the end zone. And now he doubles back, nearly gave up a safety. Instead, it's down at the 2. And that doesn't help a young quarterback as Damon Washington mishandles the punt. Washington's been one of the bright spots for Winnipeg this year, but he puts his team in a hole, and it could have been worse.
Yeah, I thought for a second he may have touched that going through his legs, which would have made it a live football. Hamilton Tiger Cats saw that he did not. Either way, perfect play basically for the Ticats to get it down inside the 5-yard line, and Paul LaPolice coaching up his returner.
So it's a long field for Joey Elliott as the Bombers start at their 2. From his end zone, a ball batted in the air and falls incomplete. Knocked down at the line, and that's the newcomer Bruce Davis out of UCLA getting his first start. Same school as former Ticat Justin Hickman, who they're trying to replace.
Yeah, he's not going to get there, so he gets his arms up in the throwing lane, and I'm a little surprised the Bombers didn't put Chad Simpson in the backfield at all on that play to even have the threat of run.
2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 handoff, and that's going nowhere, and the fans here are not happy with that play call.
Well, I think it's the combination of the two. You know, on first down, Chad Simpson isn't in there. He's not in the backfield. It's an empty backfield, so the Hamilton Tiger Cats know it's passed. They get a man in Bruce Davis in the passing lane, and he knocks down the ball on first down. Then they put the back in the backfield, 2nd and long, and run it to him, and that's why I think the combination has frustrated the fans a little bit.
So Renault comes on. He'll stand deep in his end zone and likely give up 2. Although the wind is strong at his back, so they turn him loose. Chris Williams just on the Ticats side of midfield, but he's got a good return. Flag comes down as Williams is dropped at the 37-yard line. Looks like that's coming back after a 53-yard punt.
Well, the decision by head coach Paul LaPolice to punt it out of his end zone is going to work out for him because of a bad decision by Daryl Stevenson right at the point of attack there where Chris Williams caught the football. He didn't do much, but he did make contact from behind, an illegal block to push Hamilton out of field goal range.
Ticats start at midfield, and Burris looking downfield here, and Kelly's got it. Dropped at the 25-yard line, a 26-yard pickup for Kelly. Third game in for Kelly, replacing the injured Bakari Grant.
Former Clemson Tiger just down the seam. He had to fight off a little bit of a tug on the jersey from Alex Suber. Does that, maintains concentration, understanding that Ian Logan's coming from the safety spot to put the hit on him. He absorbs that. Big gain.
Give Kelly 30, his biggest catch of the year so far. First down, Hamilton. Siobhan Walker weaving and then gets pulled down by the weak side linebacker, Marcellus Bowman.
Interesting to see more out of Aaron Kelly. I mean, a guy who is just the man at Clemson. He's the all-time leader in catches, career yards. Good football players have gone through that program. He was ranked 23 out of 307 going into the NFL draft, and hasn't really produced at this level yet.
2nd and 6, they empty the backfield. 6 receivers out. Burris steps up, takes off, and has the first down. In a preseason game, in half of a preseason game here in Winnipeg, Burris threw for 188 yards. He ran 9 times for 91 yards and a touchdown. And he's going to take himself, or is he? He was going to step off the field, but back into the huddle.
Nice 8.2-yard rushing average.
14-yard run there. First down. And it's a quarterback option touchdown. Henry Burris. And is it still alive? That ball's loose, and Winnipeg's got it. No signal, and the Bombers come up with the football. Well, we'll get a challenge on this. Looked like Burris had scored, but the ball comes loose. Did he break the plane?
All scoring plays are reviewed, so this will be looked at immediately. And let's take a look at the ball. He crossed the plane before he fumbled. I don't think so. That fumble, that ball is out. Alex Hall from behind.
Alex Hall not only saves the touchdown, but helps bring the ball loose for Winnipeg.
What a move he makes on Ian Logan, and then from behind, Hall knocks it out of there.
Mark Dial had a shot at the loose football first.
The right, and is it Hall who picks it up? No, it's from the secondary, one of the Bombers' defensive backs.
Well, I mentioned last year,
Winnipeg on the 25-yard line.
Chris Williams dropped the ball when it looked like he'd score at about the same spot on a tackle by Joe Lobendon. Here it's Hall, and who ends up with the football?
Well, you know, at the bottom of that pile, Chris, it looked like Henry Burris was a little nonchalant. I think he thought that he had already crossed the line.
You know, we saw Stephen Giles here a couple of weeks ago fumble late in the game. It took away a chance for a winning field goal. Chris Matthews completion, and George Cortez just talking about the place that quarterbacks naturally, as they're going down, often don't secure the football. It's something he said he had his quarterbacks in college practice, but there again, as it looked like Burris was going down into the end zone to score, might have eased off on the handle. Chad Simpson a carry up to the 40-yard line. Could be an early turning point because the Bombers had nothing going in this first quarter.
Well, and that would back-to-back series that their defense was giving up big chunks of yards too, right down on the goal line, and to create the turnover and a little momentum. Now if Joey Elliott can take advantage of some of that momentum with a few first downs, flop the field a little bit, field position, yeah, I think it could be a key play early on.
4 receivers out of a bunch formation to this near side. 2nd and 5, Simpson straight ahead, and he'll be close to the first down with good second effort.
Touched on it, the 3 things that make the tailback the best friend of the inexperienced quarterback in Chad Simpson. 1, to establish that run. We touched on that early on, but also the pass protection, which has been a topic of discussion with tailbacks, especially in the East Division. Corey Boyd moving from Toronto to the Edmonton Eskimos. And then receiving, because for Joey Elliott, if he gets in trouble back there, Chad Simpson is his dump down guy, the guy that he can just get the football out of his hands, drop it off to the back, save a loss.
Don't think we've seen that yet tonight, and it was something we expected to see from Simpson. Paul LaPolice gets some extra time to assess this. They're short. He'll get a better look at how short on what will be the final play of the opening quarter. With the wind at his back, he's likely to leave the short yardage team out there.
Well, Joey Elliott so far in this first quarter, I think, has looked confident. Alex Brink's in there now on short yardage, but he's looked confident in some of the throws. Hit Terrence Edwards in a nice intermediate throw in his first series. But Alex Hall's made the biggest play for the Bombers in that first quarter.
Have to get to the 45, and Brink does get across to give Elliott a fresh set of downs when we start the second quarter. Another tough quarter for Paul LaPolice offensively, but it could have been worse. Our first quarter stats are brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the Canadian Football League, and its 8 teams.
I'll draw your attention to just net yards, because if you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now, after that first quarter, you're saying we should have possibly a 2-touchdown, maybe 3-touchdown lead with that kind of a quarter. Playing very well, looked like pitch and catch for Henry Burris in the first couple of series, but Alex Hall with a hustle play turns things around, and it's only a 6-point lead.
Nevertheless, the Bombers are going to need to stiffen on defense for sure, even though they get one big turnover. But Henry Burris made it look pretty easy in that first quarter, but for the fumble down at the goal line.
Well, and that's the good news for Bomber fans, because it could be much, much worse, as you mentioned.
Couple of first downs since the fumble recovery in the end zone, and Joey Elliott back to the air. Wide side, complete. And Corey Watson puts his head down and has the first down as we check in on the sidelines here. Sarah Orlesky.
Chris, we've heard Paul LaPolice talk about how Alex Brink and Joey Elliott were really second string and 2A quarterback. There wasn't much that was separating them. Well, those two are very close off the field, along with Justin Goltz. It's interesting watching the dynamic of the 3 of them down here on the field. A lot of communication. It's just a really different dynamic than what you saw when, say, Alex Brink was starting his first game and Buck Pierce was here on the sideline.
All the young guys and low, way offside on the play. Corey Watson.
I think it's safe to say Corey Watson was the #1 target on that play. And it's an interesting dynamic and an opportunity here for Joey Elliott, as Sarah mentioned, to come in. He can put together a good game here and really...
Outside. Winnipeg number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Take control of that #2 spot. Buck Pierce probably a couple of weeks at least before he'll be able to return, maybe more. And if it is 2A and 2A, like Sarah mentioned, and LaPolice told me that as well, this is an opportunity for him to separate himself.
First and 15. Here's Watson. He's got the first down. Paul LaPolice said he wanted more explosive plays when critiquing the first 6 games of the year. And he gets one here to Corey Watson.
Well, throws like that from Joey Elliott will get him along that road to planting a seed in this coaching staff that he can take over at that position, because that one's put in a nice little window. A lot of Ticats in the area.
And they go no huddle and swing it out to Simpson, and Chad Simpson, great second effort there, close to another first down. Not much question, the momentum has changed here with that fumble by Burris.
Yeah, you can thank Alex Hall for the momentum change. Now can Joey Elliott finish the drive? Good throw to Corey Watson. Went in the hurry up quickly to catch the Hamilton defense off guard to Chad Simpson. Almost a waste play here if he wants it.
It's like a little confusion here out of the bunch.
Well, there is.
That's a big bunch, and now Watson in motion to the short side. Second and short, Simpson will cut back, and he'll get the first down at the 10. Well, they'll huddle up and get on the same page, but it's a first down for the Bombers. Tito Pobla checks back in as fullback Michel Pierre-Pontbriand heads to the bench. So Elliott perfect on this drive. First and goal. Short drop, and look out! Should have been picked off. In and out of the hands of Jamal Johnson.
Jamal Johnson drops underneath this throw, and you could see Joey Elliott, an inexperienced quarterback, as we mentioned. He's going to lock into that side quickly. A little glance to his left, and then he locks into Pobla. Jamal Johnson, all he had to do was hang on, and he's off to the races. Only Elliott with a chance to catch him.
Jamal Johnson might still be running. Second down pressure, and they get to the quarterback. Ray Williams, the middle linebacker, sacking Joey Elliott.
Well, a little answer to that question. Casey Crean, will he go with pressure and see if Joey Elliott can handle that pressure? Nice timing from Ray Williams, the middle linebacker, to hesitate a split second, let the blocking set up front. You can see the double team in the middle on Jermaine McIlvain, and that opens up a hole for Ray Williams. He takes full advantage, so a little blitz from Crean.
Crean, 2 years linebacker coach here in Winnipeg. So here's Pilardi from 28 yards out. And Pilardi tucks that in. And it's a 3-point Hamilton lead.
Almost has the interception and the knockdown, and Ray Williams on the sack forces the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to 3 when they were on the doorstep.
Pilardi line drive, and it'll be Giguère this time. Samuel Giguère across the 35, and just beyond that is where Henry Burris and the offense will go back to work. Burris 5 for 6, 112 yards passing and 14 yards rushing, but one fumble to smudge those stats so far.
He came into this game second in the league passing and had the best touchdown to interception ratio, 16-4. Off to a great start. A little bit of a setback, as I mentioned last week.
But his best first third of the year since 2008.
Yeah.
Siobhan Walker. He is stopped for a short gain. Was that front converges and holds Walker to 1.
You mentioned 08. Of course, that year he took the Calgary Stampeders to the Grey Cup Championship, and he's on an incredible pace this year for over 5,000 yards passing. Henry Burris got off to that great start. First couple of series, it was like pitch and catch in practice, as this Bomber defense was giving the receivers lots of room. They're starting to tighten up a little bit more now, though.
Another second and long as Pierre-Luc Labbé checks in on defense, and he's blitzing over the middle. Giguère, and Ian Logan on the scene, making sure Giguère doesn't get loose. And a 2-and-out for the first time of the game for the Hamilton offense.
You know, Samuel Giguère is trying to learn that slot back spot. All year he's played at wide receiver, and in here he goes a little bit too far into the middle. If he on this hot stays in this spot, then it's a different angle for Ian Logan, and he may be able to make a miss in the open field, but he comes too far in the middle, turns his back to the safety.
Bartel, a one-hopper to Devon Washington. Got something on the return. And a late flag as Washington brought down at the 32-yard line. We'll check the flag when we come back. It's 7-4 Ticats. Park tonight. Holding call against Winnipeg on the return. We were not given a number. Joey Elliott has not enjoyed great field position to start in this game. At the 20. Over the middle, Watson holds on and has close to 8 yards.
You know, I mentioned the Hamilton linebackers, how they made a couple plays on the end of that last series, and like they're moving around nicely tonight. Talked about Jamal Johnson and Ray Williams, how this team has given up way too many yards along the ground. It's been one of the reasons when they struggle, it's because they're giving up that yardage along the ground, and they're playing better tonight already.
Fourth catch, 61 yards for Watson. 2nd and 3. Simpson's got the first down. Straight ahead. In that defense has given up 100 yards or more 4 times this year and twice over 200 yards. John Cornish ripped them up last week for 170 on the ground.
Nice support from the defensive secondary from Armando Morello there. Step up and make the tackle on Simpson.
Again, without Markeith Knowlton, who seems to be such an important guy in that Ticat defense. 1 and 2 without Knowlton so far.
He's not close, apparently.
Elliott ducks it underneath. And Chad Simpson, the catch, dragged down by Ray Williams once again. He has been active in this first half tonight.
Just show you some of the numbers, and this is a better unit than the numbers would reflect. 145 yards a game, dead last in the league. First downs allowed, rushing too many along the ground, and that average per rush well over 7. That theoretically puts quarterbacks in 2nd and 3rd or less.
2nd and about 5, and there is Bruce Davis off the edge once again, making another play in his first start to defensive end.
Well, and Joey Elliott really didn't sell the fact that he may pull this football, and that allowed Davis to come around the corner and chase down Chad Simpson from behind. Now watch the exchange here where Joey Elliott, veteran quarterbacks will make it look like he may pull that.
Mike Renaud just got it away. We'll get another look at that. Chris Williams picks it up and reverses field, and he'll get collared and brought down at the 45. A no yards penalty on the play, a 31-yard punt, but Mike Renaud did very well to get that football away.
By the way, you can hit him once he loses the protection of that.
No yards. Winnipeg. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
That conventional 1-2-3 kick. Once he's out of that protective area, you can hit the punter. And you're right, he was lucky to get that one out of there.
So near disaster averted for Renaud. Looked like Mark Beswick had a chance at the block and overran the play. Burrow starts at the 52. And now drops it off, and here's the speedster, Siobhan Walker. And 3 Bombers quickly converge on him, including Pierre-Luc Labbé, who looks like he's back in the middle.
Asked Paul LaPolice, I said, if there was one thing that your team needs to do tonight to give you the best chance to win, what would it be? And he said it would be to stop the big play. They've given up the big play on defense a couple times. In fact, 4 passes last week over 30 yards. And he knows the playmakers that the Hamilton Tiger Cats have on offense. They haven't given up the big play yet.
Labbé and Muamba in at the same time. 2nd and short, and here's Darrell Stevenson, the former Bomber, with a big gain. And he'll get dragged down by Ian Logan.
Well, chalk one big play up. Darrell Stevenson, and a couple of things here. One, they get that big play offensively. basically an extended run. This will go down in the books as a pass, obviously, but an extended run because it's just out of the backfield, almost a shovel pass. And then Stevenson takes off for that big play along the ground. And remember, he was the guy who had the penalty, took Hamilton out of field goal range on the punt, so he makes amends for that.
24 for number 24. Burris has a first down. Back to throw, looking to the corner and well short of the intended target. A throwback for Chris Williams, and they weren't on the same page.
Well, remember the out Chris Williams scored in the first quarter? That was the same play, only this time Chris Williams didn't break out. He just kept running down the field, and on the timing, Burris threw it right to where he expected his receiver to be. Chris Williams wasn't there.
Aaron Kelly comes into the Hamilton offense. Stevenson to the sidelines. Second and 10. Pressure, and they get to the quarterback. Jonathan Hefty on the blitz gets home for the first sack of the game for the Bombers.
Load him up outside to where there's really no chance for Mark Dial, the right tackle, off the edge, because he's got two guys outside him. One takes an inside move, then he hesitates there, so he misses Pierre-Luc Labbé coming up the middle, and Jonathan Hefty off the edge, and Hefty gets there first.
Just the third sack in the last 4 games surrendered by the Ticats. So Luka Kanji comes on, 8 for 9 on the year, this from 39. And Kanji has missed. Javon Johnson finds a crease. Waited for it, there he goes. Kanji slows him up and brings him down across the 40. So Luka Kanji misses the field goal and has to make a tackle. And a 50-yard return for Javon Johnson.
Boy, you don't have to be the listener to see what Javon Johnson is thinking here. He's thinking, do I go, do I go? There's the gap, yeah, I'm gone. You can almost see his mind, the thoughts going through his mind there as he jogs to his left, waits for an opening, waits for a crease, he saw it and took off.
It was middle, right? I'm trying to get me middle.
Well, you don't have to be the listener, but if you're a star in the listener, it sure helps to identify how that play unfolded.
And leave the acting to the actors.
Here's Elliott on a roll, 8 for 11 in the game, shoots it downfield, and almost intercepted by Ryan Hines. That's a couple of drops by that Hamilton defense tonight.
Well, Ryan Hines does a veteran move here, and he takes advantage of an inexperienced quarterback because he's playing the edge here, but watch how he drops back underneath this corner throw when it's not his man. He's going to wait, he's going to wait. His man is Chris Matthews. Hold it here, guys. See, he sees now Matthews is not going to be the target, so he drops underneath the corner to help out on the deep route. And Joey Elliott doesn't see him do that, and all he does is forget to catch the football.
Intended target, Clarence Denmark, 2nd and 10, and Elliott trying to scramble, and he's hauled down. Greg Peach with the tackle. And it's the 2nd sack of the night for the Hamilton Ticats.
Not a blitz, though. It was basically just a stunt up front with Greg Peach lining up as a DN and then coming all the way across and in the middle.
Watch the center.
Renaud just gets that away. Beswick close again. Bouncing down for Williams. And he finds a crease, and he is gone. Chris Williams has his 4th kick return touchdown of the year, and there are no flags. 70-yard punt return for Chris Williams, and he doesn't backpedal into the end zone.
And the key block made by Mark Beswick right at the end of the play. The only guy that was left to get him was Renaud, and he makes a nice block on the punter to spring Chris Williams. Almost got there on the block twice in a row now. And this time, watch him make the key block. First of all, some patience from Williams. You have to have confidence to bounce around like this. He waits. Now he bounces to his left. Take a look. Take a look. He knows he's got that acceleration. Now he's got that lane. But he needs one more block down the field, and he gets it from number 3. And away he goes. Here is Beswick. Watch him turn. The only guy there, Pierre-Luc Labbé, that could maybe get the angle on him here. And he picks him up. And Chris Williams able to just stride his way in.
He had averaged 4.3 yards a return in the last 3 games. They had found a way to contain him for a while, but officially a 71-yarder, so he now has 3 punt return touchdowns on the year, a missed field goal return. He also has a receiving touchdown in this game, his 4th of the year. So a league leading 8 touchdowns for Chris Williams. And the injured Ticat on the play is Bruce Davis.
Interesting. You mentioned those stats, which are great ones. And he turned around on cue and then looked in the camera and said, we just need to get the win. Almost like, I love the stats, but it's the win we're looking for.
And that's a big momentum shift back in Hamilton's sails. And with that touchdown, I believe with each touchdown he scores now, $1,000 given to a youth charity in Hamilton, the result of response to the backpedaling that cost him one earlier this year when he was caught by Brian Ridgway at the 1-yard line. Well, this is the newcomer Bruce Davis, who has looked good on defense for the Ticats tonight. And let's find out what might have happened to him.
Well, he wasn't that return. He kind of just fell on one of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers or got pulled down on top of him. You can see the number. Bruce Davis right here. He's trying to find a man. He turns around. A little push there from Pierre-Luc Labbé. And he went down on him, maybe landed on the side of his shoulder pads or something. That Chris Williams punt return for touchdown, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Bashar Livingston. Remember how he used to be patient back there with kicks, and then just it looked like he wasn't even really running hard. Got to the end zone.
Yes, first 12 games of the year, there were 7 kick return touchdowns. The last 12 games, there had not been any. In fact, only 2 punt returns over 30 yards until tonight. And Chris Williams ends the drought, and the year of the return is back on.
Well, the cover guys are starting to get a little upset. That was a nice one, and that touchdown moves him into #1 spot in the CFL. With 8 touchdowns on the season, his teammate Siobhan Walker at 7, and Nick Lewis in Calgary's having a nice year already. He's got 7. And we're playing a couple of nights against Toronto.
155 pounds of dynamite, Chris Williams. So it's a 10-point lead for the Tiger Cats as Brink and Elliott discuss the next series for Winnipeg with 4 minutes left in this first half. Haji gets it. Damon Washington awaits. And he has to go back to the 5 and boots it around a bit. It's by Stevenson, but Nathan Canya's not going to let him get any further. Doesn't reach the 20 on the return.
You know, you mentioned that the last 12 games there hasn't been a kick over 30 or a return over 30 yards, and Damon Washington got off to such a great start in the return game with some big returns in week 1 and week 2. And then he started in the defensive backfield. And for Paul LaPolice, it's a bit of a juggling act for him. I mean, you'd like to see him as a returner and that explosiveness, and he's playing every down on defense. It's tougher to do that. He hasn't had a big return. In fact, one over 20 yards in the last couple of games.
So again, the Bombers start with a long field. Here's Elliott. Gets it in the hands of Chris Matthews. Nearly got away, dragged down by Ryan Hines back on the corner.
Remember that one that Ryan Hines almost intercepted in the last series? That throw was to keep Ryan Hines on his man. His man is Chris Matthews. and he went off Chris Matthews, almost had an interception. So Joey Elliott learned something. He said, if I'm going to keep the corners on their wide receivers, I've got to throw it to them every now and then. So that'll keep him up there. Now, if he wants to get the corner behind Ryan Hines, he might have a better crack at it.
The 11 for Matthews, tied for the league lead in plays over 30 yards. Now they go to the other side, try and stretch things out a bit, and the catch is made by Clarence Denmark.
Again, a throw to the sideline, this time to Denmark, to pull the corners up tighter.
Giving the 3-minute warning to the benches with the Williams punt return touchdown, a 10-point Ticat lead. Let's go back to the sidelines. Here again is Sarah.
Chris, well, Bruce Davis, the doctor was taking a look at him. It is his ribs that they are worried about, but they do expect him to be back here playing. He was engaged very much in some animated conversations with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans over here while he was getting attention. So all indications are that he should be able to return in this game.
Yeah, those are usually interesting on that side of the field.
Well, if you can talk trash with the fans, you can go out and play, I guess.
2nd and 5 for the Bombers. Elliott over the middle. Watson has the catch and another first down. Corey Watson has been the favorite target for Joey Elliott in this first half.
You know, it's interesting. You look at the Bombers and you're thinking about, you know, what do they have to fix to get out of this slump, this 1-5 slump, and there's a few things. We talked about the turnovers. They haven't had a turnover in this first half. Defense started out slow, started playing better, and then they give up a touchdown on the special teams. It's like putting your finger in the hole of a leaking ship. There's another hole right beside you.
At the 45, Elliott over the middle, and he overthrows off the fingertips of Terrence Edwards. 15 catches in the last 2 games for Edwards, but couldn't bring that one down.
Well, I was going to say, you know, of all the receivers out here, Edwards is probably the one guy who was a little concerned about the quarterback change, because you mentioned those 15 catches with Alex Brink the last 2 games. He was starting to get on a bit of a roll with Brink. That ball a little bit behind him. In the first quarter, he did have that 1 catch. You heard Milt Stiegel talk about it before the game, about doesn't matter who's playing quarterback, the receivers feel confident. They got to go in that huddle and believe in the guy that's in there.
Milt had a lot of them.
Yeah, he did. I think he was talking about one year he had 4 in 1 year.
He had figured one of them might figure out, just get the ball to 85.
Yeah.
2nd and 10. Crosser, Simpson has to get to midfield, won't do it. Johnson and Ray Williams were on the scene to prevent him from getting to the first down stick.
We're starting to see Ray Williams' A-game. A nice drop, good discipline in it. We've seen him come on a blitz with a nice sack tonight. A couple of good plays on the run, stopping the run game. And that time, corralling Simpson in time to keep him short of the first down. I mean, this is what he's capable of. That's why I said they're better than their numbers reflect.
Yeah, and he's been playing on a bad ankle that looks like he's getting around a lot better tonight. Here's Renault. That one bounces back. Williams picks it up, no yards. And Corey Watt's going to make sure he doesn't get loose this time, a 34-yard kick. And there will be the 5-yard no yards penalty, which the Bombers will probably gladly take to make sure Williams doesn't get any further. Well, GMC live at the half, and back from gold medal glory in London is Dave Randorf. There's Milt, Matt, and Schultze will check in on what they've seen in this first half and reassess the decision by Paul LaPolice on going with Joey Elliott tonight and not Alex Brink.
I think Joey Elliott has shown some of that confidence the guys talked about in the pregame show. Made some nice throws. I think it was one over the middle to Corey Watson. A little bit behind Terrence Edwards on that last drive.
Here's the handoff to Siobhan Walker, slide that far side, and nothing doing.
Mwamba moving over there nicely to to stop Siobhan Walker on that play, and he's been a guy I've had my eye on as well, playing pretty well in his first start in the middle of the Bomber defense. It's been Pierre-Luc Labbé, who's played in a bit of a rotation here tonight, but they want to see if Mwamba can bring a little more intensity and aggressiveness to the middle linebacker spot. That was a nice play on first down.
Bowman to the sidelines. McGee checks in as extra DB. 2nd and 8. Burris looking for Andrea Jones, who had his feet tangled a bit with Javon Johnson. And the Bombers were looking for a 2 and out. They get it, and we'll get the ball back here with just under a minute to go. Both teams with a pair of 2 and outs in this first half.
Tremaine Copeland working with the receivers in the Hamilton sideline.
Bartel, high boot on the sidelines, and Washington coming across field and ducked under a wave and is still going. Well, a determined effort up to the 44-yard line. So 48 seconds on the clock here for the Bombers offense to cut into a 10-point Hamilton lead.
Joey Elliott's got to manage the clock now a little bit too. Try and a couple sideline routes here. Maybe need at least one of these plays. A nice chunk, 25, 30-yarder. He's had a couple of seams open. One to Corey Watson that he completed, one he missed to Terrence Edwards. That might be an area they go back to.
Need about 35 yards to get into Pilardi range. Elliott, there's that sideline toss, and a hook up to Matthews, who's pushed out, but it's a 12-yard gain. Jeff Tisdale on the corner for Hamilton.
5 plays, leads the Canadian Football League. Chris Matthews over 30 yards receptions.
Well, they really did not get pushed out, so there's Watson, and he'll regroup. Clock running. Elliott, and he passes over the middle, complete, and Terrence Edwards a catch at the 40. Just under a half minute to go.
Like what he did there, Joey Elliott, little pocket presence, moved out of the pocket nicely, slid to his right, but with his eyes down the field and found Terrence Edwards.
Clock running again. Bombers holding on to their timeout so far. Need one more completion to get into field goal range. This should do it. Although Simpson bubbles back a little bit, D. Webb, and so it's only a couple of yards when it could have been a few more.
And that's just a bad decision by a young player. Chad Simpson there has been so good when he catches the football out of the backfield of just getting those positive yards. That time he decides to bubble, as you mentioned, Chris, cost him some time off the clock, plus some yardage. He turns around and just lowers his shoulders. He probably picks up 7 yards, 8 yards, and it happens 2-3 seconds faster.
A couple of weeks ago, the Bombers scored on a Hail Mary to end the first half to Chris Matthews. But here, you might need a couple more yards to get it into Pilardi range. Do you play for the field goal or you take a shot? Second and 7. And they'll try for the field position. It looks like Watson nearly dropped it. But he has a first down at the 30. 7 seconds left. Do you take one more or do you send Pilardi out now?
Well, Joey Elliott wants one more. He's trying to talk his coach into it right now. I don't think he's going to get that opportunity.
No, you've got to kick it now, don't you?
Well,
the
I
clock
think
doesn't
so.
stop, so.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, to go to the end zone from here, 30-yard line, you're going to need all 7.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could work the sideline and pick up 10, if that helped you in any way, then you may try and squeeze one in there, but no, you got to kick it now.
Looking for 3 that would put them down by a touchdown at the half.
Oh, and they're a man short.
Beaubriand on late.
I thought I heard an official yell, he's okay, as far as the substitution.
Hamilton prior to the snap.
Well, the Ticats call the timeout. Pilardi's made from 28, missed from 49.
And it was actually Corey Watson that was not on the field goal team and was supposed to be. Montreal went on just because he was the next guy beside the coach. And they were a man short, and then Watson hustled out there.
So now they'll reset. And from 37, Pilardi makes no mistake. Final play, first half. And the Ticats will take a 7-point lead to the locker room. GMC live at the half. Coming up.
Chris Williams does it again. Another return for a touchdown. You know, there have been 8 returns for a touchdown so far this season. This guy's got 4 of them. Cool. That one for 72 yards. His 4th of the season. He is now 1 away from the single-season CFL record. Done by Keith Stokes, Bashar Livingston, and one other guy.
Gizmo.
Gizmo did it twice.
Wow.
Gizmo did it twice.
Probably had 5 called back that year, too.
Yeah, that's right. And we got ourselves a game. It is 14-7. Dave and Milton, Matt and Schultze. Milt said prior to the kickoff, he said, by far, the team under the most pressure tonight are the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I ask you, here they are up by 7. They got the halftime lead. Have they responded to this pressure that you speak of?
Well, I thought they would, and so far I would have to say no. When you're playing against a team that's 1-5, you can't give them a glimmer of hope, and so far these Tiger Cats have. They had some chances to maybe put this game away early on in the game. Henry Burris with the fumble. I saw Johnson and Hines drop interceptions. When you're playing against a team who has their back against the walls, you have to put them away. Now, they need to come out early in this second half, Matt, and set a tempo early. If not, these Winnipeg Blue Bombers think they can play with them and give them a chance.
Yeah, do you see what Johnson's got on his left wrist? It's a big old huge cast.
Catch the ball. I don't catch it with what do you catch it with, Schultze? Your eyes. You don't catch it with your hands anyway.
You're not giving any room, are you?
None.
Well, I think this football team stepped up. They knew what they had to do defensively, and that stopped the run of Chad Simpson. And that's what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to hang their hat on with Joey Elliott at the helm. I thought this defense really bailed the offense out, particularly after that Henry Burris fumble. And watch this here. This is pretty simple. Both offensive linemen are going to slide this way, and then you're going to see these guys. You see Moreno coming the gap here, and then here comes Ray Williams. They know where Joey Elliott's at. He's right there, 7 yards deep, and it's lights out. Thank you very much. Another little off the edge here. This is a great play. Watch this man, Davis, come in, and then you see Jamal Johnson out here who's got quarterback. Simple play, stop the run, go to the football, Davis. Job well done. And once again, Greg Peach, this is a hustle play. Little twist up front. These guys going this way. Peach can go all the way around the horn and then get Joey Elliott. They know where he's at, and they're doing a good job. Schultze, I was pulling my hair out, literally, and I can tell you.
Yeah, we both were, huh?
Schultze, literally, I can tell you, I was pulling my hair out when they went in that prevent defense there late. That really let Winnipeg in. They moved the ball down in field goal range and got 3 points. I don't understand why Casey
what was the name of the guy that gave you that haircut?
It was
Sergeant who?
Sergeant Slaughter.
She was upset, Schultze.
I know. Anyway, Joey Elliott, well, you know, some good things, some bad things, and everything in between. I thought he started the game rough. In the first quarter, you could tell he was a little bit hyperactive because all his throws were inaccurate, but as the game progressed, he made some pretty good throws. He's got a long way to go, but I do want to highlight Corey Watson on a few plays because right now, 6 catches, 79 yards, and a lot of these plays were because of Corey Watson. That is excellent second effort. They went for it on 3rd down. They achieved the 1st down. This one right here, I like this. Now watch this. He turns around, he lowers his shoulder, and he gains some yards. Physical play in a finesse position. But this is the one. Now, this is a judgment call, and we saw this in review many times. I don't know if he was down on the play. I don't know if he was not down on the play, but that one was backbreaking for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because if that had been a touchdown, momentum would have shifted. Some nice things about Joey Elliott, some not so nice things. We'll see what happens in the second half.
You said in the pregame show we might see some moxie from Joey. Has Joey shown you moxie?
Not really.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Need some more moxie from Joey.
Yes, we need
in the
moxie
second half.
offensive line.
All right, there you heard it. This is what you come here for. That type of analysis. Joey, you heard Schultze. Schultze says Joey needs more moxie.
Moxie.